A streak of crimson lipstick smeared across my cheek, vivid and unmistakable. It wasn't just makeup anymore, it was an omen, a cruel signal that something precious had been shattered. That mark carried with it the weight of betrayal. Elena, my wife of 10 years, stumbled through the door just as dawn was breaking. Her steps were uneven, her movements clumsy as she tried to free herself from her high heels. The smell of tequila clung to her breath, sharp and invasive, but beneath it lingered another scent, sweet, floral, and unfamiliar. It was not her perfume. She muttered a half-hearted apology, her gaze heavy and unfocused. "Sorry, darling, I'm late." Her kiss landed awkwardly, and the careless streak of lipstick across my face seemed almost deliberate. She chuckled and insisted her girls' night had gone on longer than planned, but the laugh didn't sound like hers anymore. It was hollow, brittle, and it unsettled me. I had noticed changes long before that night. She had started answering fewer calls when I was around, shielding her phone from my sight, shopping for new dresses, trying hairstyles she hadn't worn in years, even buying lingerie she never showed me. When I asked, she told me it was for herself, that she was working on her self-esteem. I wanted so badly to believe her. Yet her warmth had been slipping away, her excuses stretched thin, her eyes darting away whenever I pressed. Something was unraveling, and deep down, I knew it. Still, I clung to hope, convincing myself that marriage always had rough seasons, that insecurity was whispering lies, that love could mend anything broken. But that night, as she collapsed into bed with alcohol still on her breath and another man's scent on her skin, denial became impossible. I sat in silence, the room dark except for the faint glow of her phone buzzing on the nightstand. When a notification lit the screen, my heart stuttered. The message preview read, "Tonight was amazing. Already longing for you." The contact's name was Yoga Retreat. She had mentioned yoga the week before. My hands trembled as I unlocked the phone. The truth spilled out before me in the form of messages stretching back months. Messages full of affection, desire, and secret meetings. They weren't the words of strangers caught in a fleeting mistake. They were the careful, intimate conversations of people who had built an entire hidden life. Then came the voicemails. The first was a man's calm, confident voice whispering, "Hey, beautiful. Just thinking of you. Can't wait for tomorrow." My stomach clenched. The second was worse, Elena's voice, radiant and filled with joy I hadn't heard in years. "Oh, Marcus, I can't stop thinking about you either. Being with you, it's everything." The name Marcus cut me open. 10 years of laughter, shared memories, and dreams of a future together collapsed in that moment. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I sat frozen, the phone heavy in my hand, the truth like a blade pressing deeper with every second. When morning came, I had already decided what I would do. She woke bleary-eyed, groggy, unaware that the fragile walls of her deception had crumbled. I placed a cup of coffee in front of her and asked casually about her night. She smiled weakly and blamed tequila. When I pressed about yoga, her body stiffened, her hands trembling until coffee spilled across the table. Then I played the voicemail. The sound of her own voice, tender and unmistakable, filled the kitchen. Color drained from her face, panic rushed into her eyes. "Who's Marcus?" I asked, quiet but seething. She stammered, reaching for explanations, words that dissolved in her mouth. Eventually, she admitted to meeting him months ago at a conference. She tried to call it a mistake, something physical, but the words on her phone betrayed her. This wasn't casual, it was a relationship, a second life layered over ours. She had stolen not only my trust, but also the honesty that held us together. The days that followed revealed more. Her story spilled out like a frayed rope unraveling thread by thread. I couldn't look at her without nausea rising. Trust had dissolved completely. But I wasn't finished. Marcus wasn't a faceless shadow. I needed him to see the destruction he had helped cause. It wasn't difficult to find him. His social media painted a picture of perfection. A wife, children, family vacations, a polished professional life. One evening, I waited outside his workplace. When he saw me, recognition hit him instantly. His face paled. "You're Elena's husband." I confirmed it and showed him everything. Messages, voicemails. His confidence crumbled to ash. He tried to shift the blame, claiming Elena misled him, but I silenced him with a look. "You ruined my marriage," I said quietly. "Now live with the wreckage of your own." And I walked away. The aftermath was inevitable. Elena and I filed for divorce. She moved out, and the house that once echoed with love now echoed only with emptiness. She begged me to forgive her, but forgiveness wasn't a bridge back, it was only a release. Marcus's life collapsed too. His wife left him, taking their children. His perfect world shattered just as mine had. Yet there were no winners. Only devastation. I sold the house, unable to bear its memories, and began the slow process of rebuilding. Work gave me structure. Old hobbies brought me quiet solace. Friends reminded me I wasn't alone. Slowly, I began to stitch myself back together. Years later, I saw Elena again. She looked worn, her smile fragile, her eyes heavy with regret. We spoke softly, not of betrayal but of time lost, of mistakes that couldn't be undone. She apologized, and this time I forgave her, not for her redemption, but for my peace. Forgiveness didn't erase the scars or excuse the betrayal. It released me from carrying the weight of anger. The lipstick mark, once a cruel brand of deceit, had faded. The memory no longer burned. It had hardened into a scar, proof that I survived, that I endured, and that I had learned how to reclaim myself after being broken.